Brad Williams, Labor Compliance Group. In this newsletter, we're going to uncover how to find and read Davis-Bacon wage determinations. And with that, why don't we get started here? I'm just going to open up a new window and I'm just going to put in www.sam.gov. Why? Because that's going to take us to this form, which is a little dated. Just hit the OK button. This is just the key page in terms of finding some different information within SAM. And within SAM, you're going to see the official U.S. government system and they have a list of stuff here. We're looking for wage determinations. Just keep in mind, sam.gov is your go-to starting point. Then what we do is just hit wage determinations. If you want to read up about what other information on this page, knock yourself out. But hit wage determinations, you may want to bookmark this particular page. This is going to lead you to the wage determinations within your geographic area. If you're doing work in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, you're going to identify prevailing wages for that particular geographic area. What we have to do as a starting point is determine what contract we're working under. Now, if you need additional information in terms of Davis-Bacon and how it works, I offer this class right here, this course, Federal Davis-Bacon Contractors Guide, along with Davis-Bacon Frequently Asked Questions. I'm going to address a lot of this information here, so I'm not going to go into the meats and potatoes. I'm just showing you how to get to this point. For here, public building or works, you hit Davis-Bacon Act. Under Service Contract Act, you're going to have different rates. Make sure you hit the proper link here. If you have an ID number, then just reference that particular number. Here, we're just going to hit Davis-Bacon. The criteria, it's just step by step. We're going to use construction DBA. DBA is Davis-Bacon. SCA, which is not applicable. Or if you have a collective bargaining agreement, I'm not going to touch on that. We're just going to focus on construction DBA. Pick a state. I'm in California, so I'm picking California. Then you're going to narrow it down by county. I'm in the Sacramento region. The construction type. You're going to have 4 choices here. If you need to know what is what, take a look at my course. I'm going to put building. Publish any date? No. All we're going to do, here's the data, and then up above, this is our starting point. So we're looking up wage determinations for Sacramento under building. We have this number here. Recognize that it covers the various geographic counties. We're under modification date 6 as of March 7th, 2024. Rather recent. Then all you do is click this button, and voila, here's the problem. Your wage determinations are right here, and this could be 90 pages long. And it just goes on and on and on and on and on. Now you can do a keyword search. You can do Control F, but that's a pain in the butt. So I always recommend downloading this. That way you can save it. We're going to hit download, whatever text software program you have. Here it is Notepad. And you can see that this just goes on and on and on and on. So you want to be specific. If you are a painter on your keyboard, just hit Control F and you're going to have this find. And I'm just going to put paint. The fewer letters, the broader your search is going to be. So now we have painters. You can scroll down, and this is the way it's read. Here are your hourly rates, and here are your benefits. You add the two together. That is your total hourly rate you pay your workers. So this is rates. This is fringes. Again, you add them together. Be sure to read all of the information. Make sure you're in the proper geographic area. Again, you're going to need to make sure that you're in the right area. So now we have painters, and this is for something else. Notice we're in different geographic areas. Find next, this is brush and roll, and then painter for paper hanger. Then we have for painted traffic. Kind of get the idea here. If you look for, I don't know, carpenter, find next. You can see here, you're going to have to go back up to find something related to carpenter. I always like to go back to the very start. And this is not a very good search mechanism because it doesn't give me a count as to the number of carpenters. To support this newsletter, be sure to check out my courses. I know I just touched on the Davis-Bacon, but this Understanding California DIR labor compliance rules and regulations, if you're doing work in California, this is a must. You don't want an $88,000 penalty. That's the average penalty if you're doing public works projects in California. If you screw up, it's severe. If you think California DIR labor compliance is tough, San Francisco local hire is 10 times more challenging. Take a look at this. Navigating DIR websites, there's more there than you think. There really is. If you take this course, this DIR labor compliance rules and regulations, this is an absolute necessity. Navigating DIR, there's more than you think. You have to do both. California DIR prevailing wages, this is a nifty tutorial that it's going to answer those questions. Sometimes post to you, but you just can't remember the answer. I suspect the answers will be there. Federal Davis-Bacon, as I mentioned, I have this FAQ, and then if you're new to Davis-Bacon as a contractor, this is an absolute necessity. I'm available for consulting purposes. If you have a large project that needs to be monitored, 5 million and above, I'll look at that particular project. If you need one-on-one training for DIR or Davis-Bacon, I can do that. And then if you have unique questions, I can address those. If this newsletter has been helpful, be sure to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, hit that like button, and be sure to check out all the links below. Now, in terms of the guidance here, as I mentioned, this particular search feature is not very helpful. It doesn't count the number of carpenters listed here, but it is what it is. So I'm just going to scroll down, hit this down button, and hit Find Next. And so you're going to have carpenter. What's critical here is the various subclassifications under carpenter. Be sure to read this information. Make sure you're in the right geographic area. You can see we have Butte County all the way up to Trinity. Then we have another carpenter, but it's in Napa and Solano. Then we're going to have more carpenters. Again, this search feature, I have to go all the way to the very top, and then I have to click a particular area and then find next. And you're going to see a whole list of carpenters. So I'm just going to give you a count. Carpenter, 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 carpenter. So it's absolutely necessary that you select proper area. Now, also, when you walk through this thing, there's going to be a scope of work. Go back up to carpenter and see if there's any type of scope of work. Carpenter, carpenter, carpenter. This thing is not easy to read. I'm going to tell you that. It's a challenge because sometimes they put the information below your rate of pay. So you're going to have to make sure that this crossed out line is your stop point. Here you have pile driver and it stopped. Here we have something. We have this number here, but you don't know what it is until you scroll down and it's for drywall installer. And here's the county in the note. So it's a little challenging to read this from time to time. Then here we have this new identity. It starts in Marin County. It should list carpenter. Then you go down and it says some other. Then it goes into modular furniture installer. Then it goes back down to carpenter. And it goes to, as I said, you really need to be careful when you read this information. We end carpenter, then we go into electrical, and there's a scope of work. Read the scope of work, and then the exclusions. You just have to take your time, be patient, and work through this thing. This is your introduction to wage determinations. I suggest you spend 10 or 15 minutes and scroll through this, familiarize yourself with the different classifications. One other point I just want to make here is you're going to see some odd-looking payouts. In other words, your fringes. You have to look here. For elevator mechanic, you have an hourly rate $80.76, $37.85. Then you have to add A and B. You have to go through and read the footnotes. So be sure to do that. If you don't, you may be underpaying your workers. Let's go down. I know it's sort of a nuance, isn't it? If you're doing operating engineer, you can see we're going to have area and then we're going to have group. Make sure you match your area and your group to the proper classification. I know I'm walking through this as quick as possible, but I said this could be a very lengthy document. You want to make sure you're properly matched up with whatever type of work you're doing. Well, that's a quick overview of how to find your prevailing wages, wage determinations for Davis-Bacon project. Remember, sam.gov. Brad Williams, Labor Compliance Group. Thanks for watching.